Welcome to this Blender tutorial series, making the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. In this video we are making the inside of the cockpit. Let's start by duplicating the cockpit mesh. Move it across on the X-axis. Then hide the rest of the ship with the H key. Then select the glass and press H. Select the end of the tube and press H. Also hide most of the tube so we can see into the cockpit. Let's delete all the small cylinder details off the top. In the viewport overlays, tick the face orientation box. Blue faces shown the outside of the mesh, but we need these on the inside of the cockpit. I select all the faces for the inside of the cockpit. Now I press P and separate by selection. Press Tab, exit edit mode. Hide the other cockpit. Tab into edit mode on the new cockpit mesh. In face mode, select all with the A key. From the mesh menu, select normals, then flip. To add some thickness, press Alt E and extrude by normals. Now to fix the mesh by removing the extrudes. Select the faces, then press X to delete faces. Now change to vertex mode and select the two nearest points. Press M to merge and select center for the merge point. Do this for all the vertex, then change to face select. Choose the faces on both sides of the gap. In the edge menu, select bridge edge loops. Now repeat this for the rest of the gap. Remember to pull the inside edge inward after merging the vertices, as it does tend to pinch in a bit. Now the bottom is complete. Let's finish the top. This top extrude is wide. I merged the vertices but found I did not have an even number of faces to bridge edge loops. So pressed Ctrl-Z to take me back to the start of the merge process. I slide both bottom edges outward and then bridge edge loops to create another face. Now I have the right amount of faces to bridge the gap. Select the whole mesh and scale it down a small amount to fit inside the outer cockpit. There is a gap on either side, but this will be covered by switch panels, so I will leave these. I put a thin floor in made from a cube with 4 loop cuts. I tapered to match the shape of the cockpit. Let now make the console. I select this end face and extrude it up, moving it up just under the window. Press Ctrl-R to add 1 loop cut across the console, then 2 more to split the console into 3 sections. Select the front 3 face, the move up on the Z to give the console a slope. Extrude these on the Z-axis, then scale on the X-axis. Select the top edges and move these on the Y-axis to give a second slope. Change into vertex mode and move the vertices to the side of the cockpit on both sides to fill the space. Let's make some buttons for the console. Add a cube and scale it down on the Z. Extrude the top face. Scale it down now. Select the 2 edges on each corner. Press Ctrl B to add a bevel, then roll the mouse wheel to add as much detail as you want. I chose 2 cuts. Move the top face down to get the look you want. Hover over and press L to select. Scale it down now, then let's move on the Y-axis into position. Move it down onto the console, then press the period key to zoom in. Now to rotate on the X-axis. That alignment looks good. I add 3 more buttons, and then I get the face of the console and press I to inset 3 times. I use a black material for main console and then a gray color for the panel outlines and fills. Feel free to use your own designs and preferences. The center console panel has been extruded upward to create the space for the light jump levers, and then I get the face of the console and press I to inset 3 times. I use a black material for main console and then a gray color for the panel outlines and fills. Next, I am going to duplicate the button and move it to the center console to make the light jump levers. Inset the top face of the button, then extrude upward. Change to local orientation to move it up. The extrude again and scale it. Extrude again to form the handle, then scale. Then 1 extrude and scale for the top of the handle. I add a metallic smooth silver color to the mesh. I need to make 3 more, so I decide to scale this lever so I can fit the others. I make some other adjustments until I am satisfied. Press L to select, then Shift D to duplicate 3 times. Select them all, then move to the correct position. You can see the ship steering control, so let's make this next. Add a cube and scale it down. Select the front face, then inset with I and extrude with E. Select the two sides and repeat this process using a longer extrude. Select these two edges and move them up on the Z-axis. Select the two ends and extrude with Alt-E. Then extrude the top outer faces up twice, then in once. Scale the last face on the Y-axis, then move it forward. Inset the front faces again, then extrude to form the main yoke shaft. This is the basic shape we need. Now in the Modifiers tab, I add a subdivision surface. Let's fix the main yoke shaft by adding loop cuts. Press Ctrl+R, then click and slide to each end of the shaft. Grab this top face and move it up and scale it a bit. Press E to extrude, then S to scale again while moving it forward on the Y-axis. Add two loop cuts, then slide to the edge. Add two loop cuts with Ctrl+R to the outside of the steering handle. Now select the edge at the bottom of the midsection and move it back on the Y-axis. Add 3 more edge loops to each side of the yoke to refine the shape. Let's add a button on the top of the center column. Inset the top face with I, then extrude a small amount. Extrude again with E and then inset and extrude 3 times to finish. I decided to remove the subdivision surface as it wasn't giving me the look I was after. I selected the hand grips on each side and scaled them on the Y-axis, giving a taper off to the central column. Now I scale it down and then move it into position inside the cockpit. Once it is above the console, move it down and across to where the pilot would steer. Check how it looks, then duplicate it and move it to the co-pilot side. Check how it looks and adjust as needed. Let's make a switch. Add a cube with Shift A. Scale it down, then scale on the Y to make it longer. Extrude the top face up with E. Now add a loop cut with Ctrl R. Select the middle edge and move it down to complete a simple switch. Scale it down, then move it forward into the cockpit. Now move it onto the console, then rotate on the X to match the slope and scale to suit. Press Shift D to duplicate, then G to grab an X for the axis. Move across into position, then press Shift R to repeat as many times as you like. Add different colors materials to the buttons. To light up the button, scroll down to emission and change the color from black to the color of your button. Then add a strength value of between 5 to 8. Let's add a cube for the back of the cockpit. Scale it to be tall and thin. Extrude the top and bottom face with Alt-E. Then move the middle face over to create a bevel look. Now extrude the two faces to form half of the doorway. Hover over and press L to select the mesh and move it into place. Select the top face and move it up. Now select the two corner edges of the door. Press Ctrl B to bevel the corner. Select the top and bottom face of the door. Move on X-axis to the center. Select the top face and move it up on the Z-axis. Hover over and press L to select the mesh. Press Ctrl D to duplicate, then move it on the X. Press S to scale, then X for axis and -1 to flip the mesh. Move it into position and adjust as needed. Check how it looks from the cockpit front window. Next, let's see how I made the seats. Select these two faces. Press I to inset, then press E to extrude up. Press E to extrude up again, then press S to scale and form a bevel. Press E to extrude twice to select the outer faces of both meshes. Press Alt-E to extrude by normals. Deselect the inside faces, then pull the outside faces back on the Y-axis to line up. With one of the outer faces selected, press S to scale X for the axis and 0 for the amount to straighten it. Do the same to the other side. Select the front faces of both the seats, then extrude them forward. And extrude a small amount again, then scale with S to give a slight bevel. Select these two edges on both seat and press G to grab, and then X for the axis and move across to line it up. Now select the back faces of the seat and extrude these back on the Y-axis. Select the top faces and press E to extrude it up, forming the back of the pilot seats. Repeat with another small extrude, then select the outer edge and move it in to form a bevel at the top of the backrest. Now select the top face again and press E to extrude the headrest, then finish with a scale on the X-axis. Select these two faces on the backrest and press E to extrude them forward. Now select the top edge loop of the backrest and the lower edge loop on the headrest. Press G to grab and move it back on the Y-axis to give the seat an angled back look. Select the edge loop around the top of the base and press S to scale it in to give a nice bevel base look. Time to make the rear seats. Select the two face behind the front seats. Press I to inset for the size of the rear seat base. Press E to extrude. Now press E to extrude, then S to scale. Extrude the middle up 2 times. Select the outer faces and press Alt E to extrude by normals. Deselect the inner faces with Shift Select. Now slide the faces back along the Y-axis until they are aligned. Straighten the face by pressing S to scale, then X for axis and 0 for amount. You can repeat this for the inside faces as well. Select these two edges like before and slide over on the X-axis. Repeat this step for the other seat. Select the front faces of both the seats, then extrude them forward. And extrude a small amount again, then scale with S to give a slight bevel. Now select the back faces of the seat and extrude these back on the Y-axis. Now select the back middle face and press E to extrude it. Select the top face of this extrude on both seat and press E to extrude, then move it back on the Y-axis to give it some angle. Press E to extrude again, taking it straight up about the same distance. Select the front of this extrude and extrude I forward to form the middle of the backrest. Now select the outer faces and extrude with E to make the complete backrest. Select the top face for the backrest support and extrude it up, then move it forward on the Y-axis and scale on the X-axis. Press E to extrude up a small amount for the bottom of the headrest. Now extrude up the size of the headrest, then move forward on the Y-axis. Press E to extrude up a small amount, then scale in on the X-axis. Make any adjustment to match your references. I lifted the back of the rear seat as my images show the back seats in the cockpit are much taller. Press Ctrl R to put a pair of loop cuts through the seat backrest. Extrude the outer faces with Alt-E. Then extrude these forward by pressing E to form the chair arm rests. To finish off the seat, I select the outer edge of all seat cushions and add a bevel with Ctrl B to give them some roundness. This next clip is showing how I duplicate the rear cockpit switch panel across the opposite side. I put a loop cut in it and applied an emission shader to the surface with a strength of 50 in color white. Place these panels around the roof of the cockpit to match your images, and then copy the switches from the console and apply them to the panels. Next is how I made my corridor to the cockpit. This is just a cube with the edges beveled with Ctrl-B. I add 2 loop cuts to the sides. Then select the face on the walls and roof. Press I to inset by individual faces. And press Alt-E to extrude by normals. And finish with Ctrl-B to bevel these edges to give a padded wall feel. I added a small cylinder for the lights. Inset the top face, then extrude it inward. Add the same light material as the strip lights in the cockpit and a black material to the center. I add the black material to the inset faces to make the wall pads stand out. Around the door to the cockpit are these khaki-colored pads. I just added cubes and adjusted the shape to suit. Now that the inner cockpit is finished, I can unhide then delete the outer cockpit so I can move the rest into position. The mesh has been combined, so I can press G and X to move it into position. Now zoom in and adjust the position until it looks right. Rotate around the outside to check nothing is protruding past the outer structure. In the Shader tab, I disconnect the glass material to the mix shader for the cockpit windows. Now in render mode I can see inside the cockpit. When I zoom inside the cockpit I can see the hull of the ship in the corridor, so I need to fix this. First I hide the outer cockpit. Then I hide the inner cockpit and select the hull and press tab to enter edit mode. Now I unhide the inner cockpit so I can see which faces of the hull I need to move. I thought I could extrude it inwards, but there is too many faces. So I set about deleting faces. And then I rebuild the faces by selecting two edges and bridge the edges. Now I can unhide the cockpit and change to render mode and see the corridor from the cockpit windows. This is the last part of the Millennium Falcon Blender tutorial series. I hope you were able to follow along and create a ship similar to mine. Remember to like and subscribe for further tutorials. Thanks for watching.